Well, with the college football season kicking off, Congress is wrestling with a plan to regulate how schools compensate college athletes. Here's senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram.
New rules off the playing field. Congress refereeing what college student athletes can earn from their own name, image, and likeness, or NIL.
Without clear rules and an enforcement mechanism, the NIL landscape has become akin to the Wild West.
The bill sets a national standard, allowing schools to directly pay athletes.
We've already seen states competing with one another to get a leg up, and that patchwork is threatening the values and the balance that makes college sports so special.
But the score is far from settled.
Whether or not we should allow student athletes to be considered employees under the law, the ramifications of that would be pretty profound.
The top Democrat on the Senate Commerce Committee, Maria Cantwell, says the bill rolls back money for minor sports and only benefits major conferences like the Big Ten and SEC. Democrats argue that lawmakers should focus instead on problems in higher ed, not the athletic field.
I don't even know if there are going to be any colleges or universities or any worth fighting for.
The NCAA and many schools push for congressional intervention.
Now we just have, state legislation, and every state is different. We need some kind of federal standard and guidelines that allows people to enforce their own rules.
But some lawmakers question why the NCAA couldn't settle the pay-for-play fight.
I think if they'd had stronger management, if they'd made some decisions early on, we wouldn't be in this position.
Attorneys general from Florida, Ohio, New York, and Tennessee have reservations about the legislation. The Big West Conference says it's skewed toward major conferences. It's unclear if the bill gets a floor vote anytime soon. Rich?
Chad Pergram. Chad, thank you. Let's bring in Outkick's Hot Mic host, Jonathan Hutton. Jonathan, thanks for joining us on the Saturday where it all begins with college football. These athletes, they're making a lot more. You look at some of the projections here, $1.9 billion for this year, $2.5 billion next year, $2.6 billion the year after that. I mean, has this agreement with the NCAA and what we're seeing in Congress, is this going to clear everything up, or are we just going to continue to get more confused here?
Well, we'll see more lawsuits. There will be lawyers, right? Because we still haven't seen the representation for the full player pool, Rich. Money's going to continue to go up, and listening there, it's correct that most money is just going towards the power conferences. Last season, Ohio State led the way in roster pay, and they won the national championship with a stacked roster. The total roster was paid about $20 million, and in just 8 months, Ohio State now pays a reported $35 million for this 2025 roster, but it's Texas, who they're playing right now, that leads the way in NIL. They're paying about $5 million more, and that's not even counting Arch Manning. So I would estimate teams need about $15 to $20 million to be a true contender for a national title, but that number's only going up, and so is the profit, the pure profit for Power Four conferences.
And the Power Conference schools, and mind you, these are the schools at the tops of the Power Conferences. They were already investing a heck of a lot of money in coaches, in facilities, and all the fringe benefits. So not only do some of the second-tier, third-tier schools have to compete with that, they've always had to, they have to compete with this now. Do you think we're eventually just going to see sort of like a separation in college football that's actually acknowledged, where you've got, different leagues for different levels?
That's what they need. They need a commissioner of college football. Like we heard from Saban. They need Nick Saban, someone like him. He doesn't want to do it. I don't know who would want to step up and do that job. But they need someone to lead the way where you can have a compromise where it's fair for those that are going to be paying these top dollars and fair for those who are not. So, and it's also fair for the players here, because the schools are making a huge amount of money off of this. Players last year in NIL, estimates were about $1 billion is how much was paid out total. Almost twice as much, rising year to year, as you've mentioned. But universities, only around 14% of college football revenue finds its way to NIL. If you're comparing college football to the major sports, it's only the NFL that's making more revenue total. So this is big business, and it's huge business for the SEC and Big Ten, and the ACC and the Big 12 are also in the mix there. So they need their own pool, instead of everyone getting to decide if they want to pay the money or not, because not everyone has a billionaire donor who's acting like the team owner.
Yeah, and a lot of it, you're talking about football and you're talking about basketball. Do you think there's a world where teams are really, and schools are going to have to decide to get rid of a football team or to get rid of a basketball team just because you don't have the resources to put that much money into those two programs?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's why Bill Belichick is at UNC, to gain more revenue for football through football because of their other programs that they represent. They don't want to have to cut the Olympic sports. There are schools on the West Coast. Let's discuss UCLA, Stanford, that just joined the ACC. They are an Olympic sport school. Can they compete in football to get the revenue to pay those athletes? Schools don't want to cut those sports, but not everyone is competing in those sports. So different programs have a different amount of sports that they're actually funding. And the ones who don't have the Olympic sports, they're not having to cut or consider cutting some of the rosters down. But it's primarily football and then men's basketball that's totally leading the way. And if you've been spending, if you've been recruiting well in baseball and women's hoops, you got to choose something that you're not going to pay.
Exactly. Jonathan Hutton, Outkick's Hot Mic host. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.